Thank you, Honorable Head of Delegation from Botswana. I will now open the floor for any points for discussion. There are no points for discussion at this point. I will proceed and call on the Head of Delegation for the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Merci beaucoup, Honorable Président.
Thank you very much, Honorable President, for giving me the floor. Sanguma Musai, second split, and I am the current head of delegation. Honorable President of the SADC Parliamentary Forum, Honorable Speakers of National Parliaments, Honorable members and dear colleagues, the Secretary General of the SADC Parliamentary Forum, distinguished guests. First of all, I would like to thank, on behalf of the DRC Parliament and myself, the Parliament of the United Republic of Tanzania for the warm welcome and the organization of the proceedings of the 53rd Plenary Assembly session of the SADC Parliamentary Forum. You should recall that during the 52nd session of the Plenary Assembly that was held in Kinshasa, many recommendations were made to help national parliaments to implement them. Therefore, the Parliament of the DRC did the following. With regard to the transformation of SADC into a regional parliament, Honorable Speaker, we received your letter inviting the Parliament of DRC to continue its lobbying for the signature of the amendment of the Treaty of SADC. My country and my parliament will continue lobbying besides our government. I wish to inform you that the issue of the signature of the amendment was mentioned by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Committee of Foreign Affairs of DRC. The Parliament is working on this issue until the agreement will be signed. With regard to food, agriculture, and natural resources, and commerce, industry, finance, and investments, the Parliament of DRC through the Senate initiated a draft bill on the fundamental principles relating to agriculture. The draft bill is being considered by the two chambers and is taking into consideration the fact that some laws are inadequate and others are discriminatory, and this cannot help the country to meet the objective of growth foreseen within the framework of this law. These provisions are also likely to reduce the government's ambition to revamp agriculture and make this sector the motor of self-sufficiency as far as food is concerned. These laws, if they are modified, amended, will eliminate the discriminatory aspect in that it is excluding foreign people in agricultural concessions and the requirement to have the majority of shares in the companies that operate in DRC. This is in line with the roadmap adopted by DRC to improve the business environment, therefore easing the process of acquiring business licenses. With regard to the social and environmental aspect and the modalities of implementation on one hand, and on the other hand, the provisions of law number 004 on the investment code modify the provisions of the law that has just been mentioned with regard to the tax rate on added value concerning agricultural concessions and taxes on agricultural income, and to bring this level, allocate 10% of the budget to the agricultural sector to boost it. Moreover, the DRC modified the order of 2023 on numeric code. It is worth mentioning that the Presidency of the Republic, through the National Service Program, contributes to the effort to revamp agriculture to combat food insecurity and work for the integration of youth. With regard to democracy, governance, and human rights, this year is an electoral year. Thus, during the 2023 session, the Parliament adopted the bill on the distribution of seats, and this law opens the way for organization of elections in December 2023. Therefore, the National Independent Elections has convened on the 5th of this year, the fourth cycle of general elections. The law on distribution of seats offers a space for youth to participate in elections and participate in the governance process. With regard to the exclusivity, the Parliament commends the National Electoral Commission for its inclusivity work. The Parliament has carried out its oversight work. Audits have been carried out within the House and within committees. Special attention was accorded to security issues and the fight against impunity. With regard to human rights, it is worth noting that DRC has just strengthened its laws with the adoption of the law on the protection and the responsibility of human rights defenders in the Democratic Republic of Togo. The law complementing the law of 2004 with regard to repression and prevention of the human trade, the law laying down the fundamental principle of prisons, the DRC Parliament is committed to work for good governance with regard to gender equality, women empowerment, and empowerment of the youth and their development. The Parliament of DRC is attentively following gender issues, women empowerment, and youth empowerment. It is worth noting in this regard that within the Parliament of DRC, there have been significant progress with regard to equality between men and women. For example, in particular in the Senate, where I'm a member, there's a high representation of women in the current legislature compared to that of 2011. We went to from 5 to 25% of women elected senators. The current bureau has 3 women out of 7 members. Some committees are presided by women. For example, the Committee on External Relations, Women and Family. With regard to the fight against violence against women, the Parliament adopted a law on the reparation to victims of violence, sexual violence, and victims of acts against peace and security. This law was promulgated by the President of the Republic. The adoption of this law marks a significant stride in the fight against sexual violence and a response to organizations that advocate this cause. With regard to the youth, the Parliament also adopted a law on the entrepreneurship of women and youth. The government has set up a fund to guarantee entrepreneurship in DRC to guarantee the training of women and youth. The law on entrepreneurial of activities of men and youth help to fight youth unemployment, promote entrepreneurship within youth, and thus create conditions for job creation. Thus, government programs allocate financing and counseling for administrative modalities. With regard to universal health care, as indicated in our previous report, the 2023 finance bill takes into account universal health care